All right, we're live, I believe. Yes. Does it sound okay? Can you guys see and hear me? I see
Yeah,
Jackie.
sounds good.
Sweet. Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Medicine Garden. We're going to be live recording now, so every word we say is with intention, is with heart. We're speaking to the collective. Everything we say is a prayer for someone else who's going to watch later. And I just thank you guys for coming with me in this restart. And yeah, it's an honor. It's a pleasure to see you all. I like to start the medicine garden with a topic, but if you guys have suggested topics, please let me know. I'd like to hear what's on your heart and soul today, what brought you into the medicine garden. And for me, meditating on the soul collective was this idea of conscious separation, intentional detachment, especially if you're on the soul path, the soul mission with me. There's some things we have to filter out. There's a lot of noise around us, there's a lot of harmful relationships or whatever we need to do to let go. Sometimes it's addictions. Sometimes it's just an addiction to a thought or an emotion. So this theme came up and I shared an article about that. And I would love to hear your voice and your thoughts and opinions and how that might relate to your journey at this time. And if anyone would like to speak first, I welcome that. And again, I thank you for joining me tonight. I see Kathleen's getting ready. I think we can't hear you yet.
Who, me?
Yeah.
That's because I wasn't talking. I don't even know what to say. I'm just trying to figure this world out. And it's so hard to know who's real and who's not because people are so good at pretending. And I think that's my struggle lately. I thought it was mostly because I was manipulated pretty badly by somebody I was interested in dating, or I thought. And then once I healed from that, I was manipulated again by a boss because I didn't know a boss can do that. And so now it's really hard. I see everything as a manipulation, and it's really hard to discern between who's real and who's not. And I think that's the struggle right now for me.
I understand that betrayal. It's a grief for sure, especially when you come into relationships or into a job and you have good intentions, and then that good intention and that energy that you have, it's manipulated. And as I reflect on my journey, I realize not everyone isn't as intentional or conscious that they are manipulating us. Sometimes it's just about
Right,
awareness,
right.
mindfulness, and then alignment. It is my choice to be there or to be in that relationship or that job in alignment with the vision of my soul. And sometimes I don't know what the vision of my soul is until I go off the wrong path. And then I thank the people who are very toxic to me and very abusive to me because they were my teacher in a way to point me back in the right direction, but still reeling and still grieving in the ways that I have been abused and exploited. And so my boundaries are strong right now. It's different. I'm talking different. And no, it takes courage. It takes a boldness, and a lot of people don't like it, especially when you switch up on them. But we have to, and so I
Yeah.
commend you for your ability to even talk about it right now and publicly, and to acknowledge it happened. Because when we share our story like that, well, people can say, "Oh, you put yourself in that position. It's your fault," and it's a two-way street, and it is. Ah,
That's
but
right.
But when we're aware, we can let it go. And we don't have to ever go to that relationship or type of relationship or that type of job ever again. Then it would be a disservice to our soul. And thank goodness. But I'm there with you in that grief and that healing. And I just want to honor that and thank you for being in that space with me.
Of course. Thank you for letting me share.
Kind of going
Chris,
off.
how
Oh,
have you? Oh, Jackie? Okay.
I was just gonna say, kind of going off of that. One thing I had been talking about with one of my friends is the idea of seeing people's fruits and like being able to discern before you get to the point where you're already in a manipulative situation, which is something I haven't really mastered. I don't know if I can tell people's fruits all the way, but I feel like by looking at people who are pretty obvious in terms of like what they're producing is not like love, like there's not a lot of love around them, or there's an isolation, or just like sometimes it's feelings or like intuition type of things. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone here has like experienced in terms of like looking what people are producing in the world and using that as a way to navigate relationships specifically.
Kathleen or Chris, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess I got some thoughts. I guess it's like what kind of fruits are you looking for? So, um, some people might really like, I don't know, like materialistic stuff or money or like flashy things, and that seems to be kind of super trendy. And sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, doesn't necessarily work out in the ways people would like. Let's say I'm looking for a lady who has a lot of money or a banging body, or a bunch of dudes like her or something. And I just think a lot of times that stuff doesn't last. But like, what really feeds your soul, or like what are you really craving? And then also, is that actually even beneficial for you? Um, that would be my kind of 2 cents on that. But I think it's I guess I'm looking at like, how do people make you feel? Um, does it feel genuine? Does it kind of feel uh, like it's flowing? You know, is it really flowing, or is it something you have to constantly break your back for or whatnot? So I usually look for things that are kind of flowing, and I try to just roll with the flow, roll with the punches, like the easy river or something. Just flow and enjoy yourself. And I think that's kind of, I don't know, like things are kind of sent to you. If you let it be sent, it might not look like what you want it to be, but it might be something that's really for you.
I like what you said, Chris, about what are you craving, and I think that's a healthy desire. We've talked about sacred. Did we talk about sacred passion or sacred desire in one of the first medicine gardens? And I I believe that is an okay path to take, as long as it's coming from a pure place in your heart of truly wanting to serve other people, right? In the spirit of divine love of God, um, that type of craving. And sometimes when that craving returns to us harm and manipulation and evil, and then we get mad at God. But God is just helping us to clarify, why do you want that thing? What is the true purpose behind it? So you can align with the greater reception of what you truly desire. Because sometimes we have a desire, but it's not really what our soul wants. It's what we think we want. So dropping out of the mind into the body, like you said, Chris, feeling it out. So then I thought of my two rules right now in my journey is, one, if I already have a desire or craving or a vision. Two, it's how much am I willing to tolerate the absence of it? Giving people chances, right? Allowing people to go on a journey with me. But if they cross that line, they're going to test it. Many people will test it. How many times and how much of it am I going to tolerate before I say no more? Um, I'm an empath. I mentioned that I would totally be diagnosed autistic. So I believe in the good in everybody. I just see a pure soul, even in the most horrible human beings. I just see the potential of good in everybody. And that has harmed me. But also it's my gift, right? I give everybody a chance. Where is the line drawn? You have to have your line drawn. And secondly, especially just being a woman and anyone beyond the spiritual path for men too, is the ability to change our minds. We're allowed to change our minds, say this is not for me. I thought it, because we talk, even in human logic, we experiment things. You're allowed to hypothesize something that you believe you heard from God, and maybe you did. And God's saying, take the journey because I'm going to use it later. Maybe you won't know tomorrow. You might not know in 5 years or 20 years. And that's just the adventure. That's the fun part. And that's when I use the lingo, spiritual people use it. Take the journey, go travel, go on an adventure. But you know where your home is. And if your home is in God, it's in the heart of God, then it's okay. And we can forgive. And we can forgive other people. But those were my thoughts. Kathleen, did you have any feedback for Jackie?
Not really. I think, it sounds like we're struggling with the same thing. Recognizing people's intentions and what they really want. Do they want my money? Do they want to really spend time with me? Do they really want my energy? Do they, what is their intention? Because if I'm going to be left with an empty cup at the end of the day, that's not the person for me. So that's all.
What do they want? What do other people want? Before we say any type of contract, whether that's physical, working for someone, or spiritual, even just having someone in my vibration, knowing that they can contact me or call me anytime. That's a spiritual cord. And I have to know, like, why? What are they seeking in life? Should they have access, that type of access to me? Because it's never gonna be in harmony. It's never gonna fruit for either of our lives. Not saying you're bad or I'm good. It's not in alignment. What do they want? You're allowed to ask that. Speed dating, right? Like, do you want kids? Do you want to get married? Are you an entrepreneur? What do you value? Those type of questions. But we all know that, right? We're adults here. But I don't know. Sometimes I get nervous asking people, or it feels. I'm wondering your guys' experience. Asking the deep questions that people maybe get annoyed by. They just want to talk about, things that don't require much depth, much emotion, or much conversation. It's just weather or football, or the latest trends. Like I want to know, like, are you happy? Are you healthy? What are you doing? What are you doing every day? I need some advice. I want to see that in every interaction I have. And some people can't handle that. They're like, she's annoying. And I've lost a lot of friendships along the way because of that, right? We'll be in a group, in a party, and be like, are you okay? Tell me about it. Like, what was your childhood? Like, not saying I'm trying to have therapy, but I want to know, like, hey, do we have a connection? Are we going in a similar direction? Like, can I help you? Can you help me? If not, like, hey, it was nice to meet you. See ya, maybe never again. That's okay. Anyone else's thoughts?
I agree. I agree with what you said. The last part, especially, like, that's okay. And you said something the first time you talked about. I think you might have said you're even thankful for lightly, like, people you might not agree, or somebody who might have like played you or something. It's all kind of like, let's not hold any grudges. Let's not hold any resentment. Like, I remember that. Beautiful. I thank you. You're like a learning step in my life. But to hold grudges, or even Kathleen, like you said, you're trying to find real people, I think I kind of hate to say it, but it's almost like, don't be surprised when people are fake, like, be surprised when they're real. And I'm not saying that to be like dark or anything, but there's a lot more of fake and shifty stuff out here. And being kind of like a solid person or sending out good energy, you attract good stuff, but then you also are gonna attract like the vampires too. So and each one of the vampires you encounter is just really gonna add some more experience points to you evolving to the next level. So it's like just don't be pissed off that hey, today is fucking Monday. I met another fucking vampire trying to drain my energy. It's just part of the game, and be thankful you got the good energy, and you know, and it don't always come how you expect it to look or when you expect it. It might be last minute, but just be ready for the good and the bad around the corner, and be prepared for it all. That's what I've been trying to do, and just trying not to be upset with people when you might find out this is. I guess it's never really a waste of time. It's all learning. So the people you love, hey, thank you. The people who throw some dirt on your name, thank you too. So yeah, and happy 2025 to you guys too, you ladies.
Happy 2025. I was gonna respond to what you just said because it reminded me of the Life Jennings song when he said, "Don't be a nickel out here looking for a dime." And I think that's very true. Like if you're surrounding yourself with, you know, a lot of things, people, situations that don't align with who you want to be, then you can't expect to find anything else but that. But if you start trying to move and surround yourself, even though it might be uncomfortable or just weird, because, you know, you never done that, your parents never done that, but like, I don't know, going into a space that you just never been to and saying like, hey, this is where I want to be. So this is who I'm going to be. And now you start seeing different people, different things. And you're like, oh, okay, this is finally like the kind of situations, the kind of people that I was looking for. And then they end up finding you. But if you continue to put yourself in those situations, I don't know, just can't expect much to be different. And then I want to say something about what you said, Raileigh, about what was it? Oh, I was just gonna say, so I seem to have a problem, I would say, with like things at work in terms of being able to have those deep conversations. And I feel like, yeah, like I probably wouldn't trust anyone at work with any information just because we haven't had those conversations. I don't know who these people are beyond like these small amount of hours that we spend together, which is actually a lot of hours. But, you know, we don't give ourselves that space. And even when I try to, you know, ask a little bit more, say a little bit more about myself, it's like it's a vulnerability, but not a good vulnerability, because it's usually met with people kind of dismissing it or not being able to like, I don't know, support that kind of conversation. So yeah. And maybe that's okay. I don't know.
I know Chris can relate to that in some ways, but in response to that, you'll know in that circumstance who's there for the money and who's there because you're actually there because of your soul guiding you to be there. It's part of your mission. You're gaining something that the spirit is moving you to experience. Some people might just be there, just it's a paycheck, and so you know that, and it'll continue to separate, right? Vision, no vision. In that circumstance, you have two options, really. One, you lead more community. You can be the leader. You can lead the gatherings after work and say, hey, we're going to go out to dinner. We're going to talk about a vision. How can we better the company? How can we better our teamwork? Here's some activities I want to help guide us through it. And I'm welcome for collaboration. I'm inviting that, and you can join me. If not, no answers to that, then you have a choice if that's an environment that's going to continue to grow you, or accept it as it is. And I think that's where a lot of people are at, especially working for somebody else. That's when you also have an opportunity to discern your spirit. What do you want? Are you going to keep hopping and finding a work environment that you enjoy? Or are you going to maybe take an entrepreneur path? For me, is I try to work for other teams or other companies, and it always ends up clashing because ultimately my spirit wants to be an entrepreneur, and I had to honor that, because ultimately visions clash, and then I'm putting someone else's vision in jeopardy, or I'm not creating a peaceful environment, and I'm the problem because I really truly don't want to be there, and they don't deserve that either. They don't deserve someone who's going to be unreliable or not consistent because I'm focused on other things, and that's okay. But I think we all understand how that feels, to not feel belonging or not feeling accepted in the environment. And some people are just tired. It's winter time. They're just not there mentally, and that's okay too. But I know your vision, Jackie, and I know it's brilliant. And I just pray you keep aligning it to the spaces where people honor you and see what you have to offer. And it's going to be a journey, a beautiful one. Anyone else? Oh, I wanted
Yeah,
to.
I want to say something to Jacqueline about like the work environment. I don't know like what you're doing at work, but for me, I always kind of I do want to share, and I do sometimes feel like I got good ideas. And a lot of times at work, I think people are more so looking for some kind of information to dig into. In the jobs that I've had, they want some like little personal info, so maybe they can have a little. Unfortunately, a lot of times at work, people are just kind of like brown nosing, want to throw you under the bus so they can get beyond you. So, I think I'm kind of interesting person, but sometimes I just keep my mouth shut, and they could be like, "I'm learning from you," um, but then sometimes you're dealing with people who you could show them something, and they could be like BS, and then you just be quiet, and then they'll be like, "You're not sharing info," so just like let's keep it light. And kind of what Ray was saying earlier about sometimes you want to have a deeper conversation with somebody, and people do want to just speak about like football, or sporting event, or something. And to me, that's kind of I coach sports. I play college sports, but it's kind of barely scratching the surface about what I really want to speak about or what I really find important. And when you're speaking different, sometimes people find that as like a threat or something. Like you're unhinged, or I'm off the reservation. So it's like thank you. I almost thank them for being, sometimes, but you're letting me know who you are, and that is what it is. That's beautiful too. But there are people who will come to you, whether it's in at work or some family. Maybe not all family members have the same interest, but maybe your little cousin might pop up and say, "Hey, man, I think what you're doing, Jacqueline, is cool. I want to learn more. I want to hear more what you're passionate about." And that's it makes it even more like feels good when that happens. Yeah.
That hasn't happened yet for me, but I do look forward to that.
Yeah, I trust me, it'll come because whatever you're passionate about, it's like protect it, and you don't gotta. Sometimes I could be preaching a lot, and people like you could tell them, "Hey, man, the gold is over here. Go get it. It's right here in the X in this room," and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And it's like you're speaking a different language to them, but there'll be maybe it might be out of 50 people, one person. It might be out of 100, it might be out of 1,000. That one person's gonna come, and then you will really click up, and it'll be like boom, you ain't got to be reaching and twisting people's arms or nothing. It'll just be a smooth flow. And that's beautiful too because it kind of shows how much of an individual you are. So just keep on trucking.
You'd be surprised too, Jackie, how many people silently watch you and that you are leading without you being aware of it. And for a long time since I started even coming online, people would write to me randomly. No one's liking my posts, no one's commenting. When people write to me or email me, they're like, I've been watching you for years. I'm like, why didn't you let me know? Like people are watching and they're still receiving from you. And then just that one opportunity when they have the courage to say, hey, like, I needed help. I'm ashamed to ask for it, but just thank you, Jackie, for leading the way and bringing the energy into the workspace, because without you, man, just I can't move on. I can't do it. And thank you. And that gratitude it'll come. It'll manifest. I want to take a moment for each of you, if you have an offering to the world that you would like people to receive from you. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm always going to offer it. I know Kathleen opened up a YouTube channel. If she would like to share that handle, and if any of you guys are ready also to share how people can find you or get connected or receive from you, please tell us.
If you'd like to connect with me, I guess you can connect with my Instagram, which is a shared Instagram account. It's called Where the Wild Roots Grow. That is the handle, Where the Wild Roots Grow. Yeah.
And where is spelled WHERE, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. And as you guys come in, if anyone else comes into the Medicine Garden and I post the recorded sessions, please comment. Like say, hey, I was in this and here's my information. Sometimes I just don't have time to share everyone's information, and I welcome that. Like comment, let people come to you too. Kathleen, were you gonna share?
So I have been led to start a channel for a while now, and I finally did it a couple weeks ago. I haven't been very consistent with it, but I need to get back there. But it was because I've had conversations with people, and a lot of times they have different perspectives than I do. The more people I talk to, the more I realize my thought process is a lot different. We just see the world as very different. Not that I'm right and somebody else is wrong, and not that, and vice versa. We all are in our own worlds. We all see different things. We all have different histories. We all have different paths, which makes the world beautiful because we all do see things differently. That's what makes art, right? It's in the eye of the beholder. So I'm starting that up. So that's Perspectives-377 on YouTube. So that's it.
Okay. Well, I don't have a page. You could check me out on Instagram. My Instagram is Chainsaw Chain, and I guess uh, any message that I would have for um, anybody this year, it's just been peace, strength, and clarity. It's what I've been asking for lately, and I wish everybody some peace, some strength, and some clarity. There's a lot of fogginess out here, and I wish you clarity. I wish you strength to deal with it, and if you can't get there first, I hope you have some peace and be calm and let the stuff come to you because it will, and just have good intentions, you know. So
Thank you, Chris. Chainsaw Chain. That simple, huh? I love what handles that people somehow claim. There's so many people on the internet. Like, you pick that. That is your vibration. it's badass. It's cool. Okay, so I want to ask some hard questions, if you guys don't mind, in the next half hour that we have. Um, one being, what do you even think about conscious divorce? I'm a woman of faith. I've been in the Catholic Church. I've been in the Christian Church, and divorce is not something that wants to be talked about. No one wants that, obviously, right? But it's been coming up in my consciousness as I serve a lot of people who are in separation. Being the coach I am, I started off maybe wanting to be a death doula, and then I realized, oh, I'm a guide for people who are just in transition. Like, they really need to claim what their vision is and just get to the other side. And that's where I meet people like, hey, here's the light. It's you. Come on. It's okay. So it is a death doula in a way, right? But it's consciousness. So I wanted to hear your honest thoughts, if you're comfortable sharing, of what is conscious divorce. And as I was writing about, Kathleen's ready. I'm writing about it of like, it's a sacred pause. Like, obviously, if you fall in love with someone, it is true love. That love will never die. But sometimes our priorities change and things we need to do in life according to what God's asking us to do. And if people marry someone and they're not staying committed to bettering their life or growing themselves or being healthy or taking care of themselves or listening to God, or they end up beating me, it's clearly not abusive, but my soul still loves them, but I'm growing somewhere else. And so it's a sacred pause in a way. So I believe maybe, we can come together, things can heal, but a conscious divorce is saying there's a separation happening in the mind, in the spirit, in my soul first, before in the physical. Before we even get to the legal paper, there is some type of separation that needs to happen. It's the healthiest thing to happen. And I think if more people have this conversation and don't shy away from even what divorce is as an option, we can have more sacred spaces, right? A couple is arguing a lot, go on a retreat, spend a couple months apart, come back together more healed, take time to self-reflect, to pray, return to our sacred relationship with God, just God. And then we can come back and see the God in our lover. And I say lover or partner, it doesn't have to be romantic. So I was wondering what your honest thoughts about what is a conscious divorce? But divorce, I mean, just a separation of something sacred, like once sacred, very important, very special. All right, I'll shut up. Kathleen's ready to go. She's bracing. All right.
I have multiple schools of thought on this. When you say conscious divorce, that's somebody who's already in this situation, right? So my whole thought process on that is, and I'm 47 and I've never been married. I do have a child that I had when I was 18, because the Catholic Church taught me that it's not okay to say no unless you have a good reason. They didn't really break things down for me, and I guess I wasn't absorbing and understanding things the way it should have been. There was also no communication at home. But neither here nor there. I take full responsibility for everything I've done in life. But with that being said, being single at 47 is because I haven't healed yet. And I feel that if I'm not healed or in a relationship with somebody who is doing the same work that I'm doing, then what are we really doing if we're getting together? Are we just getting married for finances? Are we just, what's going on there? Because that can fall apart as quickly as we put it together. And if you're already in that situation, then I think they want to look at it, because if there's children involved, there's no children involved and they don't want to be together, it is what it is. But if you're together and you've done that work and you have to look, I can't put words to it right now. I just lost it. But are you making an effort? Are you both fully present in the, like you said, the retreats, the working together? What is your goal? Because wasn't your goal the same in the beginning? Has your goal changed? What inspires you to do your goal? Right? I think all that they need to look at together.
I'm in agreement with you, Kathleen, that for me, marriage, it's a healing journey. I'm going to be healing with someone, but there's a purpose to it. I don't believe marriage is just for comfort. And I'm talking about marriage because I'm recently engaged and plan to be getting married in the spring. So I'm facing my fear. What if we divorce, right? What if it's terrible, and or we change, and it would break my heart, and I don't want to repeat the same generational curses in my family, all the things that our ego comes up with. And I'm come back down to my prayers with God and my relationship and conversations with the divine. And to me, marriage, it's a union, it's a sacred union that will come together to serve God's purpose in your life. Your purpose is very similar, almost the exact same as the person that is in your life, your actual ordained divine partner, your spouse. And that is what will be the glue that will always return you. Even when you're off the path, that person is still going forward, and you can return home. Home being in your most intimate, sacred walk. Like, what are you doing? What are you walking out? That's faith. It's a fruit. We were talking about fruit earlier. It's not about comfort. It's not about what you can give me or I can give. It's about, what is God telling you to do with your life? Oh, it's very similar to mine. And when we come together, we're greater, even greater. Yes, it's not about my feelings. It's not about comfort. It's just about, how can I live better for God and for other people? And that's where I'm at. And I know that my purpose won't change, right? That won't change. And so that's a more sustainable, grounded root tree that I want to see in someone I marry. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And I'm okay with that. There's going to be things that are not in my control. I'm okay with that because I have the freedom, the spiritual freedom in the United States to divorce. And I recognize how much of a privilege that is. But for some reason, I cannot see it ever. But I've been in a relationship where I started seeing it, where, oh, he becomes an alcoholic, he starts beating me, and right? And then I can't leave. I have the spiritual freedom in the United States to say, this is not serving God anymore. Maybe it did at one point. But okay, that's my thoughts.
So whenever that fear creeps up, turn to God and have faith in God, and you'll get through it.
And not easily giving up too, right? I'm saying
Yeah.
conscious divorce means give it years, give it 5 years to give someone an opportunity to heal themselves and to change. Doesn't mean you have to divorce right away because of an emotional outburst or impulse, right? Okay.
Right. Because at the end of the day, we can only control ourselves.
Yeah. Chris or Jacqueline, do you have thoughts on that topic? I know it's a deep one.
Yeah. I think the way that like the world and society for the most part views marriage is very broken and very like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like when I asked my friend, like, why get married? Why not just like stay partners for the rest of your life? Like, because it seems like that is what most people want. I mean, they want someone who's committed, but why get married? Because when I think of marriage, it's something so much deeper than that. Like you're literally living life with this person. And again, like during hard times, like, do y'all know what like the yoke is? The yoking of the animals. Like two animals basically have like they're attached. They have like collar. One has a collar, the other has a collar, and together they carry like a heavy load. And so when I think of marriage, that's like the image I think of. And so if I fall in a ditch at one point, this person is going to have to be able to carry us on. They fall in a ditch, I'm going to have to carry us on. In terms of like even having faith, like not every single day my faith is going to be good. Not every single day their faith is going to be good. And so it's a give and a take. Now, when people get divorced, like I question, like, what do vows even mean? Like through good times, through bad times. And I feel like there are circumstances, like even God talks about in the Bible, like there are circumstances that you leave. So you leave. And I feel like God, knows our hearts and knows us. And so if there's a situation where your life is at risk, I don't think that God is going to tell you to stay in a relationship that's going to cause that. But I hope that, like, when people are getting married and then thinking about divorce, they think back to like those vows, because like otherwise, what's the point? Like, who's to trust me for any word that I make if I can say those words and not really mean them, no matter what happens down the line? I don't know. Life is not like life has never been promised as something easy. It's a blessing when it is. It's a blessing when it's beautiful, when it's fun, when it's light. But it was never promised to be that way. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
That's beautiful. And I thought back to what Kathleen was saying of just the grace of, I'm on a healing journey. I don't have to be perfectly healed, but I do know that I can make mistakes, and my lover, my husband, or my wife can still continue on with me even when I'm down. That is beautiful, sacred, and it can be rare sometimes, but I believe if it's a pure intention, a pure desire in your heart, it's there for you. There's someone there for you. And as you continue on your healing journey and you walk your sacred purpose, your sacred walk, your most intimate relationship on earth with God within, you will align with that person, and you will know that person, and they will know you better than anyone on this earth. It's beautiful. So thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline, for sharing. And yeah, it's a deep time in my life. I have that question, like, can I do this? Will I succeed? And it's not about winning or succeeding, but just, taking it for what it is. It's going to be a testimony of everything about my character coming forward. It's beautiful to have that privilege and that blessing, but it's also intense time. So anyway, I'm going within, and I'm just in deep silence and meditation right now. It's a good time. Chris.
Conscious divorce. That's what you said.
Or intentional separation. Is
Okay.
another way to phrase.
I guess. I am. I haven't been married. But I guess I could relate that to like friendships, or even like family ties. Somebody you might have grown up with since you were a young youth, a young one. So you guys kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I think you can love people from a distance and still have love, and like you said, come back and walk hand in hand into the sunset or whatnot. But sometimes that is good. I think whatever is like healthiest for you individually. You might have certain passions and things pushing you, and somebody else might be um, thinking something else. And I think it's sometimes the expectations is what kind of kicks us in the butt sometimes, and maybe a little bit. I don't know if it's our ego, but just going in, giving it your best, and um, sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes things you might have thought might not was gonna work out. It works out to be like super beautiful, you know. And I guess I've dealt with that with uh, kind of like family members, people close to you. You just kind of grow. There's nothing hard. I got nothing bad to say, but we're on different pages. And thanks for the experience. It's all learning experience. And yeah, we are gonna. My granny says not every day is gonna be a good day, so um, we are going to take a little bit of a beating. So I'm not literally, but yeah. Um, that's my input on that. But yeah, I haven't been married, and I guess even relationships. So if you guys have different, if I've been talking to someone, and I have we just have completely different interests and things that are fueling us. And um, I remember I talked to a lady one time. She didn't believe in God, and and I'm not like a super Bible pumper or anything, but it was like I I don't know, this probably isn't gonna necessarily work, and it didn't. But it's like that's okay as well. So I hope everything works out smooth.
Oop, is the connection okay? Okay, we're coming back. Okay, we're here. I don't know if it was me or how that works, but it's probably frozen on some funny face, but it's okay. I want to end with if anyone has any final thoughts or questions to discuss, but just coming back to what are your wants, what are my wants in any situation, and then being open, but understanding where's our line of tolerance. What are we not willing to tolerate? Someone can say, I want to be married. Okay, I want to be married too. I don't know if I want to have kids. And you really want to have kids. How long are you willing to traverse that journey with that person and for them to know? It's only you to decide. But along the journey, you have a beautiful relationship, even if it ends and they say no or you're tired of waiting. And you can transfer that situation to a work environment as well. What are you willing to tolerate? What are your boundaries? What is your vision with God? Okay. Final thoughts. Final questions as we wrap up. Thank you for doing this live with me for an hour. It's a lot. You feel the energy. It's different. I believe Jacqueline does a podcast still. Hopefully we'll revisit it. If not, it's a lot of energy. And so I thank you for taking this time. Oh, if anyone who's watching later and you're married, we want to hear from you because none of us in this panel are married. So share us tips like how do you make a strong marriage? How did you know? Share your journey with us in the comments below. And if you are married and you want to talk about your experience and you're on the spiritual path too, come join us next week and tell us about it. But yeah, Jacqueline, Kathleen, Chris, any final thoughts or proposed question you want to discuss on your heart today?
I'm really grateful to be here. This was last minute, as Raileigh knows, but I'm really happy that I was able to come today. So thanks for everyone for sharing and welcoming me to this. So
thanks for coming in on the spot like that. I should have said, hey, this one's recorded. You were down. Thank you for your courage and blessing me with your presence tonight. I appreciate it. And we'll talk more. But Kathleen or Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks for having me. I think it's been a couple weeks since I've been on here, and yeah, again, happy 2025. It was awesome listening to you guys, and just stay strong and stay positive. And yeah, thank you guys for sharing your input.
Thank you for standing with me up here, Chris, since day one. Trust me, I see that. I receive that. I honor that. I thank you. And yeah, I just pray you stay on this journey with me as long as you feel guided to. But I know that you sense where this could go and where we are. All of us are going. Just thank you for your presence and contributing to the divine masculine energy and sharing wisdom. Not asking anything, no expectation from me either or from each other. We just show up and we feel we need to show up. And that's our relationship. And I thank you. Like, that is brotherhood. And I pray that anyone who listens, like, you receive genuine sisterhood. Jacqueline, I see that within you too. Kathleen, you're here with me too, and I thank you and I honor you for being a white woman on a podcast where it was all our Black friends. So thank you for your bravery and your courage to show up, and we're gonna keep showing up. And I pray that more souls come in and join us. But Kathleen, do you want to close us out with any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to make everybody laugh. I actually told my my family at Christmas dinner, I said, I think my soul was previously a Black man. Just because of, I like the music. I mean, to me, we're just a vessel. Who knows where we've been in the past, you know? And what resonates with my soul is a lot of things. I don't know, but anyway, I don't see people. I don't see color, and I know that irritates a lot of people because they're like, "Well, you don't know what we've been through," and I get that part, but you also don't know where I've been through. So how about we just love one another, you know, and have tolerance for one another. And at the end of the day, if we help each other, we're all human, right? We're all ending up the same place at the end, right? So I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everybody. And it's going to be everybody's best year ever, right? And each year's only going to get better.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing your thoughts. This path, since you're online too with me, Kathleen, Spirit will not let me be judgmental or perceiving any human population as being disempowered or having more power. If you look at it at a global perspective, God will always say, hey, look at this. And I think the people who come in and say, don't forget what's happened over here and over here. And it's a world issue. It's everyone's issue of what's happening.
That's right.
And I understand there's social paradigms, and I'm targeting that as a woman in the South. And that's why I feel called most specifically right now to not only the Indigenous, but the Black community. And I serve them. I serve them hard. And yeah, that's who we are. So maybe we continue to honor our soul guidance at this time. Wherever God's calling us to serve, that's 2025, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it relentlessly, and success will come. Success in just being in alignment with our soul. And I pray that for each and every one of us. So thank you. Peace, love, and what was it, Chris? Strength.
Yeah, it's peace, strength, and clarity. Yeah, and love too.
I always put the love in there, but clarity is
yeah.
All right, I'll let you all go, and hopefully see you in the Medicine Garden again. And have a beautiful rest of your week. Peace and love, and clarity and strength.
Thanks, Raileigh. Nice talking with you guys. Peace.